Good evening, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of Double K's Classroom. I am Double K. Get your books out and your pens ready and step into my classroom. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Double K, K Double, here with you for another edition of Double K's Classroom. Because I got some things right here that I want to get off my chest. Okay. First of all, thank y'all for listening in, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to me on the Spreaker Network. Either way, thank you very much. This episode 104 on Spreaker. There's been over 250 episodes of Double K's Classroom. Where are the other ones you say? They're in the archives. Don't worry. They'll be out eventually. But let's start with Aaron Rodgers again. So look, about a week or two ago, a young gentleman by the name of Hassan Habib or something like that, a writer, I guess a guy who has a vote for MVP, went on a podcast or a radio show and said some shit about he wouldn't vote for Aaron Rodgers ever because Aaron Rodgers is a horrible human being and so on and so forth. And yeah. And so it was just like, all right, cool. So dude said that, right? Everybody was calling him out. Actually, Dominic Foxworthy on ESPN even said, I was right there with him. Even he was like, yeah, dude, like MVP is about what you do on the field. It's not about what you do off the field. Like you can be a horrible human being, but if you're a damn good football player, you deserve the MVP. It's just that simple. All right, yeah, I feel you. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be my favorite pick for MVP because I don't like, how he handled the whole vaccination situation. Not the fact that he wasn't vaccinated. Let's make that very clear. I could really give two flying fucks. That's a personal choice whether or not he gets vaccinated. But the fact that he chose to lie or dance or beat around the bush about it is the part that I don't like. So with that being said, this leads me to my most recent problem with A-Rod. His response to the dude. Now, he called him a bum, and rightfully so, because dude don't know him. Dude ain't broke bread with him. Dude don't know, him from a hole in the wall. So to be talking out the side of his mouth like that is kind of disrespectful. But, people got opinions. I got mine. And then he took it that step further by saying, you know why he doesn't like me? Quote, he doesn't like me because I'm not vaccinated. Stop. No. Stop it. Don't. No. You are not the victim. Stop. Full stop. You do not get to play the victim. You do not get to play the victim because of the vaccination thing. Nobody gives a shit that you're not vaccinated. Well, there probably are people out there that give a shit that you're not vaccinated, but I personally here don't give a shit that you're not vaccinated. And I can guarantee you a lot of what this guy was saying about him being a horrible human being has less to do with him not being vaccinated and has more to do with how he handled the vaccination situation. The guy backpedaled and act like, oh, well, like y'all misunderstood me and nobody asked any follow-up questions and man, stop it. But thank you, Pat McAfee, for giving him a place to say all that shit because your show is funny as hell. Shout out to Pat McAfee. So, but yeah, so he goes that far, and it's just got me looking at him going, dude, you about to win this MVP. You probably even about to win the Super Bowl as good as Green Bay is playing right now. But dude, my dude, like I used to have like love and mad respect for you. Now, not so much. And like I said in the last episode when I said that, it probably don't mean a goddamn thing to Aaron Rodgers himself, and I don't expect it to. But I'm just putting it out there that the love and respect you have from this California boy is pretty much gone at this point. Pretty much gone. I just ain't got no respect for you, like, period. All right, so we'll move on from that, and we'll flip over to these guys right here. The Golden State Warriors. They sit at, I believe, 30-9, with tonight being a huge night with Klay Thompson coming back. Let's see. There we go. No, 29-9. Sorry, 29-9. They sit at 29-9. Let's see, and they sit in, I believe, the number 2 spot in the they sit in the number 2 spot at 29-9, a half game behind Phoenix, who they are 2-1 against this season after the Christmas Day win. But the Dubs have played themselves into a position where Steph's shooting slump matters, but it doesn't really. Because, look, anybody who's out here saying Steph don't deserve the props that he gets, the status that he gets because he had a shooting slump recently, because of his numbers recently, you're a fool. Stop talking. Don't talk basketball because that's not your forte. But you are just you are not not in a position to be able to talk it with anybody. Sorry, distracted by the 49ers game. They're losing at this moment, 10-0. But anyway, but Steph's slump to me just means that Steph's gassed. He carried the team on his back last year. You know what I'm saying? And kept that role going this year. He didn't necessarily have to carry him as much with Jordan Poole and Draymond Green and everybody doing what they do. You know, he ain't necessarily had to carry the load as much. You know, and with Bellica putting up points, Porter putting up points, you know, throwing up 20-point games here and there, Steph ain't have to carry it as much, but he was putting out with that same intensity. He's just a little gas, man. He's just a little gas. And so he'll get through it. He didn't got 3 days rest now. And because he didn't play in the New Orleans game. New Orleans lost back-to-back games for the first time like this season. They didn't lose he didn't play in the New Orleans game, so he's had like 4 days off. And he comes back with his brother, with his Splash brother, that we'll talk about a little bit later. Y'all know who I'm talking about. All right. So final subject is going to be AB. AB, man. Like, look, don't get me wrong. Like I didn't have my moments before where I didn't want it to blow up at a job and shit wasn't going my way. But man, like, you don't know how to leave a spot just quietly, do you? Like that's not in your forte. That's not in your blood to leave a place quietly. Like you got to go out with a bang, and that's what he did this week. For y'all of you that didn't see, Antonio Brown literally did jumping jacks and sprints all the way out the arena. And so since then, it's gotten quite interesting. With Antonio Brown making claims online that that the Bucks knew that he was hurt, and coach was trying to force him to go in hurt, and that's why that's what happened. And coach told him that they're gonna cut it. And yeah, like, bro, like, really? So like, yeah. And so like that's why he took his helmet off and his shoulder pads and threw them down and left. And a couple days later, Antonio Brown was released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now his third place being released from. One he asked for, the other two are just, yeah. Yeah. Like, how you fuck up, like Tom Brady brought you in. Like, how you fuck that up? I guess Antonio Brown knows how to do that, knows how to do that big time. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he stays healthy, but I don't think anybody will let him play football for a long while. I don't think he's coming back. He may end up in the Hall of Fame, but I think we're going to see not the first, but I think we're going to see a NFL forced retirement forced retirement, like Colin Kaepernick forced retirement. Like, ain't nobody gonna touch him with a 10-foot golden pole with diamonds on top and rubies on top of that. At least I hope not, because that man needs to go get himself some help. But let's take a break right quick. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna spend a little bit of time talking about Clay's return, and I'll spend a little bit of time talking about this Niners flipping Rams game. You're listening to or watching Double K's Classroom right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and soon to be Live 365. Peace. Howdy, folks. This is Double KK Double here. I'm here to tell you all about the 4Aces Presents Radio Network. On this network, we have a plethora of shows going on, sometimes once a month, sometimes every other week, sometimes once a week. It's all kinds of schedules going on around here. But what we're going to start with is the Now versus Then network. Now versus Then is comprised of a man by the name and co-founder of this particular network by the name of the Saint and his collective of hosts that help him bring to you the hottest topics, bring to you some of the greatest discussions, and bring to you some of the greatest music, independent music on the West Coast, hell, possibly even on the East Coast. So check out the Saint on Now versus Then. Now versus Then West, and Now versus Then Deuce. These shows air on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. or Monday nights right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network on Spreaker.com and or Live 365 starting here in the next couple of weeks. All right, so the other part of the 4Aces Presents Radio Network I wanted to tell you about was a show by the name of the Mr. Deacon Experience. Starring Mr. Deacon himself. Deacon takes you on a ride talking about his Browns, talking about sports, talking about some of the hottest topics within the communities that surround us on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, I should say. So tune in to him on Saturday nights at 8. Now, the next part of the network is a few shows, some of which you may recognize, some of which are right here on YouTube, and that is the Double K Double Network. That would be 4 shows starring me and a bunch of my other hosts doing everything from sports to music. Let's start out with Double K's Classroom, which is my bi-weekly show where I talk sports and some of the hottest topics in sports. Like this week, I touched on the A-Rod situation, John Gruden situation. So be sure to tune into that on Friday night at 8. But every Friday night we have a show, but we will be alternating between Spreaker and Live 365. Double K's K-Double, or Double K's Classroom will air on Spreaker every Friday night at 8, or every other Friday night at 8. In the weeks in between Double K's Classroom, we will have KD5P. K-Double's 5th period music class, the show that will bring to you music from multiple generations, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s on Live 365 every other Friday at 8 p.m. So be sure to tune into those shows. The next show that we have is the Cheap Pop Podcast. The Cheap Pop Podcast airs right here on YouTube as well as on Spreaker.com. It's a weekly show that alternates between talking pro wrestling and everything involved with that, from WWE to AEW, etc., to talking movies, entertainment, comic books, television shows, animated television shows, etc. You think about it, we probably talk about it. So that's on Sundays at 5 p.m. And then every other Sunday, the final show on this network stars me, the dual and Heather O'Malley, which, by the way, Cheap Pop Podcast also stars Alpha, a young man out of Sacramento. All right. And then, yes, the West Coast Bias with me, The Duel, and O'Malley talking sports every other week right here on the 486 Presents Radio Network. We go on live at 6 p.m. And yeah, that's so you guys be sure to tune in to the 486 Presents Radio Network. And be sure to keep watching the YouTube show that you're probably watching right now if you're seeing this video. So hi. Get back to it with either Double K's Classroom or the Cheap Pop Podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying. Peace. And we're back for this final and closing segment of this week's edition of Double K's Classroom. So check it out. Tonight is Sunday, and I know this is the first time that I'm really dropping one of these on a Sunday. Sorry it was late. It's supposed to be up on Friday. But man, tonight is a night I've been waiting for over 24 months, over 2 years. I'm just juiced. I'm happy. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this team is going to look like. And but that team that I'm talking about is the Golden State Warriors. I cannot wait to see what they're going to look like when Klay Thompson, Splash Brother, the other Splash Brother himself, Klay Thompson, gets on board and starts playing. He's been cleared for contact for a while. He's been bouncing around. He's been at practice, handling his business. He's been not ringside, but courtside at a lot of the recent games. And he wanted to do it at home. He probably could have done it like a week ago, but he wanted to do it at home. So they pegged this game right here as the game. I should I say probably could have done it earlier this week on the road trip, but he wanted to do it at home. And I appreciate that because the fans deserve that. After all that the Warriors fans have been through ups and downs over the past 5-10 years, they deserve that. So Klay comes back tonight. And then on top of that, we get back Steph, Draymond, Damian Lee. Well, Damian Lee played last game. I forget who it was that was out. There was another one out too. But now we get to see what that second unit's going to look like with Jordan Poole. Well, we've kind of seen a little bit of that already with the way that Jordan has been playing with the second unit recently. And I think that's part of the reason why they had such issues in the last two games when like they didn't have nobody but Steph because they weren't looking at their normal rotation, but that's going to be adjustment for everybody. But tonight, the starting lineup will be Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevin Looney. I love that. I am so juiced to see that. And then off the bench, we'll have D. Lee, Jordan Poole, Bellica, Otto Porter Jr., and who is it? And that's pretty much it. Like, normally they switch Draymond to the 5 to give Looney a break. So, and they got that kid Witherspoon. They got Gary Payton Jr. They got to throw in the rotation, give him minutes that he's earned with his play. So it's going to be an amazing night, and it's going to be fun to see what Steve Kerr does with these particular rotations moving forward. Because remember, James Wiseman's still coming back. Kuminga and Moody have been playing well. This team's going to be deep, dude. Come playoff time, this team's going to be deep with players that are ready to contribute their part to hopefully winning a championship. They're going to remain one of the top 2 teams. Don't expect to see them go on like a 10, 15, or 8-9 game losing streak. Don't expect to see that because I don't think it's coming anytime soon. So, other than that, there's only one more thing we got to look forward to, and that's with what's happening right now, but ain't much happening to look forward to with the Niners down 17-0 in SoFi. I don't know what the score is of the Atlanta New Orleans game, but hopefully, let me check. Hopefully New Orleans is losing, but I don't think they are. Last time I checked, they were up 7-3. No, not NBA. Go on, boy. Sorry. Elijah Mitchell. Scores. Yep, Saints are up 7-6. Come on, Atlanta, for once, come through, because we getting our butts spanked. Playoffs are going to be odd, my friends. If we get in, we could end up having to go back to LA again next week. Even if we won this game, we might end up having to go back to LA again next week. So, dear playoff committee, what the fuck? No. I just don't even know what to say. I'm just going to let it go there. This Rams team is playing hot, and so is the 49ers, and just their hotness is outshining ours. But other than that, y'all, thank y'all for listening in and listening to me being distracted by this game. But I appreciate y'all. But at the end of the day, fantasy update. So, yeah, I did decent in fantasy football. I think I finished like 7th in one league. I finished was it 7th in one league. I finished 10th in another league. And I finished number 2 in one league, won the championship in another one, and then I finished 6th in my Yahoo league. So Yahoo, I finished 6th. NFL, NFL.com leagues, I finished 2nd in one league. I played in the championship game in both and finished 2nd in one and won the championship game in the other. Came in 2nd in a 4-person league, and then came in 1st in a 10-person league. And then the ESPN leagues, I finished 7th, and then I finished 10th. Not a bad year fantasy-wise. Debo really helped me out. Having Justin Jefferson several leagues really helped me out. Joe Burrows was a surprise that launched me pretty decently. So I was happy to have him. What else? Other than that, not much. Not much to update. So y'all enjoy yourselves. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Double K's Classroom. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Pretty much when I have something more to say, when some more interesting has happened in sports and I have something more to say, we'll be back. But until then, check out Cheap Pop Podcast, West Coast Bias, all the other shows that come on Spreaker, and soon to be Live 365, KD5P, launching on the 14th of January. Peace.